friends, and welcome back to another episode of Spilling Studio. My name is Sam, and this week we have 7 ARE practice questions designed to help you pass your next exam. We have 1 question per exam topic and a bonus question at the end, so stick around. First up is practice management. An architect has just completed the construction administration phase for a new fire station. The owner begins to move their equipment into the new building, including 2 new fire trucks. When the fire trucks are moved into their apparatus bays, the owner notices the concrete slab has cracked in 3 different areas. When reviewing the contract documents, it is concluded that the structural engineer followed slab calculations as required by code, but did not include load requirements for fire trucks. Did the architect meet the standard of care? Yes, the owner is responsible for informing the design team of loads that will be imposed on the building. No, the architect did not meet the standard of care for this building type. Yes, the architect met the standard of care, but the structural engineer is responsible for performing correct calculations based on the building type. No, the architect should have performed the calculations as well to check the work of the structural engineer. Feel free to pause here to answer. The answer is no, the architect did not meet the standard of care for this building type. The architect's contract with the firm holds the architect responsible for the design of the fire station, including the work of the structural engineer and any load requirements. Since the building is a fire station and the program includes moving 2 fire trucks into the station, these loads should have been accounted for. Remember, standard of care comes from AIA document B201 and is what an architect should do in the same area, at the same time, and with the same circumstances. I have a link to a sample PDF of B201 in the description if you'd like to add it to your study list. I highly recommend it. Next up is project management. What is included in the cost of the work? Check all that apply. Contractor's profit, design fees, labor, temporary construction trailer, land costs. Pause here to answer. And the answer is contractor's profit, labor, and temporary construction trailer. The cost of the work includes the cost of labor, materials, and all items included in the contract documents, as well as owner-furnished items, overhead, and the contractor's profit. The cost of the work does not include design fees, land cost, financing cost, land surveys, or other costs that are the responsibility of the owner. These are considered part of the project cost. Remember, project cost is everything, start to finish, which includes the cost of the work. Now on to programming and analysis. What does the elevation of contour A represent? I am so sorry for my rough Illustrator elevations, but I promise they somewhat represent what they're supposed to, so bear with me. Elevation A, B, C, or D? Pause here to answer. The correct answer is C. So, topography is the study and mapping of physical features and characteristics of the Earth's surface, including its elevation, contours, and the distribution of natural and man-made features such as mountains, valleys, rivers, lakes, forests, roads, and buildings. The circular rings are called contour lines. When they are closely spaced together, the slope is steep. When the contour lines are more evenly spaced, then the slope is gentle. Each ring represents a different height above mean sea level, or a local reference point. In this question, our darker lines represent 20-foot differences in height, and the thinner lines are 5-foot differences. So A starts approximately at 70 feet and ends at 110 feet. Our question for project planning is, Which of the following is a common water treatment that is a disinfectant that kills organisms and can be used in the form of gas, liquid, or as a solid? Chloramine, ozonation, chlorination, or ion exchange? Pause here to answer. And the answer is chlorination. Chlorination is a water treatment process that involves the addition of chlorine or chlorine compounds to drinking water to disinfect it. Chlorine effectively kills or inactivates harmful microorganisms such as bacteria and viruses, making water safe for consumption by destroying their ability to reproduce and cause diseases. Chlorination is a widely used and efficient method of ensuring the safety and cleanliness of drinking water supplies. If you've grown up around a pool, you may have noticed a little plastic thing floating around in the pool, like these, or maybe it was a really cute one, like the flamingo. Well, those hold chlorine tablets that help disinfect the water. Chloramine is a water disinfection method that involves the use of a compound formed by combining chlorine and ammonia. Chloramine disinfection is effective in preventing the regrowth of harmful microorganisms, and it also helps reduce the formation of disinfection byproducts, which can be an issue when using chlorine alone. Ozonation is a water disinfection method that uses ozone, a highly reactive form of oxygen, to treat water. This process not only disinfects water but also helps remove taste and odor issues and oxidizes various organic and inorganic substances. Ozonation is a chemical-free and environmentally friendly method for water purification. Ion exchange is used for demineralization, not disinfecting. It removes specific ions, primarily minerals and salts, and the process involves passing water through a zeolite bed containing ion exchange beads. Then, undesirable ions like calcium, magnesium, and sodium are exchanged for the ions of the same charge attached to zeolite beads. To put it simply, it removes unwanted minerals. Don't freak out here, breathe. You do not need to be an expert in ion exchanges for the exam. You do, however, need to know generally what each of these are and what they're used for. A brief pause to remind you that I post new questions every week, so please hit that subscribe button to make sure you don't miss out on a video. It also really helps me out, so thank you. Now on to project development. An architect can increase the IIC value of their project by doing which of the following? Adding a second layer of drywall to all interior walls, install a vibration panel 6 inches from the wall, install a cavity resonator in spaces with focused speech, add carpeting to all interior spaces. Pause to answer. And the correct answer is add carpeting to all interior spaces. Now, did your mind start calculating the thicknesses and materials involved in each of these, or were you freaking out that you didn't know what the heck a cavity resonator is? Well, you didn't even need to know that to get this one right. If you only knew what IIC was, then you should have gotten this one. IIC rates the floor and ceiling assemblies impact sound transmission performance. So looking at all of our options, all of them were related to wall assemblies except for one, which is the one that was adding carpet to the floors. All of these options will aid acoustics in a space, but only one deals with flooring. Now, you will get questions on the test where they'll give you a lot of specifics and you may feel overwhelmed, that you don't know exactly what everything is or what it does, but breathe, reread the question, and make sure you know what they're actually looking for. A lot of the time I found myself spinning and then realizing I didn't need to figure out everything that I initially thought I did. They weren't actually looking for something specific. So remember, deep breath, reread. Next up is construction evaluation. The construction of a 7-story office building is nearing completion. Who is responsible for creating and maintaining the punch list? The owner, architect, contractor, or fire marshal? Pause to answer. And the correct answer is architect. Now this question may have tricked some of you who have been working at a firm for a while, because the way I usually see it done is that the architect creates and maintains the punch list. Well, that's not how it's supposed to be done according to AIA document B201. The contractor creates the initial list with items they know they still need to complete. The contractor then sends it to the architect, who conducts an inspection and adds items to the list if needed. If there are items that would prohibit the owner from occupying the space, then the contractor must fix those items before the certificate of substantial completion is issued. Once complete, the architect will do another inspection. My first job in the field was as an assistant project manager for an owner. They built a new classroom building that was ready for inspection by the architect. We all walked through the building, and unfortunately, they were not issued the substantial completion due to life safety reasons. The egress stair was missing labels and didn't close correctly, so we had to wait for that work to be completed and then do another walk together like a month later. And I felt bad because the contractor was super bummed because they didn't meet their schedule, and when that happens, it costs the contractor money. Last but not least, our bonus question is: an architect is in the design development stage of a new middle school. The design team is currently working on restroom layouts and is specifically reviewing ADA clearances. What turning diameter should be used at the new middle school? 3 feet, 3 feet 6 inches, 4 feet, 5 feet, or 6 feet? Pause here to answer. And the answer is 5 feet. This one comes straight from our accessibility code, chapter 3, building blocks. A 5-foot turning radius is needed so that a person in a wheelchair is able to rotate 360 degrees in a space without encountering obstacles, walls, or any other obstructions. The most important ADA measurements that you're going to need to know for the exam are turning radius, ramp slope and ramp landing, door clearances, protruding object clearance, accessible routes, and parking clearances. So make sure you study those before heading into your project planning and development exam. That's our questions for this week. Remember to check out the description for links to some of the AIA contracts covered in this video. I've also linked some of my favorite study books, so go check those out. Let me know in the comments what subject areas you're struggling with, and I'll do my best to cover it in the next video. Thanks for joining, please subscribe, and good luck on your next exam. You got this.